Beautiful boxing fans, King Amir Khan, the legend, the man who never ducked anyone, the man who actually literally lives a few minutes away from here. How crazy is that? The legendary Amir Khan just came out and the man broke down Terence Crawford's attributes and Canelo's attributes because he was and he is the only man to have fought both men. What does that tell you, ladies and gentlemen? That tells you that Amir Khan is not only is he one of the most talented and greatest British fighters to ever do it, but most importantly, the man had the biggest heart when it comes to fighting anyone at anywhere, anytime, no matter the weight class. The man fought both of them, fought Canelo and Terence Crawford, and he gave a shocking prediction and he broke down the fight down to a T. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. First, when he was describing Canelo's style and his fight versus Canelo, he said that he was able to hit Canelo very easily. And if you go back actually and watch that fight, that first round, actually, that first 30 seconds, we have never seen someone who stepped up to Canelo this quick in a fight and landed clean and flush. If you actually watch that fight back, Khan surged into the middle of the ring and he threw an unbelievable 1-2 that would have put down most men. But because Canelo has one of the greatest chins ever, he took the punch like it was nothing. And mainly also because of the size difference. I mean, let's not forget, Amir Khan went up nearly 3 weight divisions to fight Canelo Alvarez. And even though it didn't work out well for him, when it comes to him getting knocked out, but the man made nearly $10 million that night. And the man proved to the world that he is one of the bravest men in our beautiful sport. And much respect to the great Amir Khan. Now, he said that Canelo was very easy to hit, but he said that Canelo's power was something extra special. On the other hand, when describing Terence Crawford, he said that one word to describe his fight versus Terence Crawford and one word to describe how Crawford made him feel that night, the word was this, ladies and gentlemen: frustrated. Amir Khan was frustrated that night because he wasn't able to land anything flush on Terence Crawford. Now, let's get into the prediction. Amir Khan's prediction. He predicted that Terence Crawford is going to beat Saul Canelo Alvarez. And if you actually think about it, Dimitri Bivol picked Terence Crawford. Usyk picked Terence Crawford. And now Amir Khan, you're talking about legends, the elites of the elites. They are all picking Terence Crawford. Why? Let me tell you why, ladies and gentlemen. There is no question, I mean, no one's debating that Canelo Alvarez is one of the greatest fighters of all time. Especially, in my opinion, if you actually think about it, ladies and gentlemen, Canelo is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, high guard pressure fighters, counter punchers at the same time we have ever seen in the sport. I mean, the man, and especially, let's not even talk about his chin. Canelo's chin, in my opinion, this is just my opinion from what I have seen over the years. The 3 greatest chins I have ever seen: Golovkin, Canelo, and Marvin Hagler. I mean, their chins made of granite. The word or the sentence iron chin or granite chin, it's made for those 3 men, let's be honest. Now, getting back to Amir Khan's breakdown and prediction. If you actually think about it, I mean, we just gave Canelo all the credit in the world. Canelo is one of the greatest. His resume is legendary. His fighting style is legendary. Everything about the man is absolutely legendary and iconic, no question about it. But even though Terence Crawford doesn't have the best resume, but Let me tell you this. Terence Crawford is one of the greatest fighters that I have ever seen in my life. And especially when you talk about his technique, when you talk about his creativity, when you talk about his everything and anything that you think of, when he's fighting in the orthodox stance, southpaw stance, the way that he steps to the body, I mean his jab, his footwork, everything about Terence Crawford is unbelievable. And that is why if Canelo wins this fight, we gotta give him all the credit in the world. I hear some people saying that, oh, Terence Crawford is overrated. His resume is horrible. His this and that. I mean, you're actually downplaying Canelo if you say such dumb stuff. So now if Canelo goes out and beats him, does that make Canelo overrated, or this win doesn't mean much in Canelo's legacy? Of course not. Whoever wins this fight, we gotta give them all their credit and some more. Why? Because both of them are probably the two greatest fighters of our generation, and that is why they are participating in the biggest and greatest fight of our generation. I mean, you're talking about this fight. I mean, you're talking about some legendary stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Terence Crawford daring to be great, going up 2 weight divisions to fight one of the greatest ever, Canelo Alvarez. And Canelo Alvarez putting his legacy on the line, putting all his belts, every single belt in boxing is on the line for this fight. It does not get any bigger than this. It does not get any greater than this. And I understand why King Amir Khan is picking Terence Crawford. Listen, when this fight got announced, I was like, this is a no-brainer. Canelo's winning this fight. Then I watched some Crawford fights. I was like, oh my God, this man is destined to retire as truly one of the greats. He's going to win this fight. And then I watched a few fights of Canelo versus some southpaws like Billy Joe. I was like, Canelo versus Billy Joe, that version of Canelo looked absolutely perfect in every which way. Even though that night the commentators were absolutely disgraceful. I mean, they were saying that Billy Joe was winning all the early rounds. I mean, I don't know what they were watching, but in my opinion, Billy Joe barely won a round, to be honest. The man was getting pieced up, and the man was getting tired, and he was getting overwhelmed by Canelo's pressure and by Canelo's presence that night. I mean, that performance will live on forever as one of the most legendary performances in the 168-pound division. So, that said, getting back to Amir Khan, I get his prediction. I understand what the man is talking about. The man is talking about Terence Crawford's elusive style, and he got extremely underrated knockout power. Terence Crawford, he might not have enough power to knock out Canelo, but he definitely got power to discipline any fighter on any given night. And same thing for Canelo. Canelo might not knock all of his opponents out, but his power is always enough to discipline you and to put you in your place and not allow you to get out of line. And this is what you need in a fight like this, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to need skills. You're going to need defense. You're going to need IQ. You're going to need power. You're going to need body work. You're going to need everything that you think of when it comes to the boxing aspect and the most importantly mental aspect to win this fight. And both men got everything it takes to leave Allegiant Stadium on September 13 with every belt in boxing around their shoulder and waist. This is, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. I believe that we are looking at the two most skilled. I mean, yes, you got Usyk, you got Inoue, you got Bivol, you got all the, but in just my opinion, their styles. Canelo got probably my favorite style ever, and Crawford got my favorite style ever when you talk about the art of boxing, when you talk about the creativity. But Canelo got my favorite style because my favorite style is the Mexican style and the pressure fighter style, and Canelo is far from your average pressure fighter. The man's reflexes, his defense, the way he rolls with shots, everything and anything that you can think of when it comes to Crawford and Canelo, is perfect. Nearly. I mean, nothing is perfect, but this is as close as you're gonna get, as you're ever gonna get to perfection when you watch both men fight. What an unbelievable fight. Shout out to King Amir Khan for breaking this fight down. He got Terence Crawford, but tell me, who do you got in this fight? I mean, my goodness, I keep changing my pick in my mind every single day. That is how great and how elite of a matchup this is. Like I said, I'll say it again, I'll say it just one more time. It doesn't ever get any higher than this when you talk about the levels and the skills in the beautiful sport of boxing. Terence Crawford, Saul Canelo Alvarez, greatness, super middleweight division, every belt in boxing, Allegiant Stadium. This fight defines what boxing is all about.